Okay, so yeah, here's a group I wasn't sure I'd actually get to talk about again. I mean, their last two albums, as terrific as they were, just did not have a trace of rock on them, like almost nothing at all. They were pop records, and pop was treating the Quinn twins so well I figured they'd just go ahead and move on from this little sphere of their careers, but instead they've pulled a different move. While working on their memoirs, which I still have yet to read, unfortunately, where am I supposed to find the time, y'all? They found a heap of old cassette tapes with tons of older songs and demos they'd recorded when they were just teenagers. So for this album, they decided to crib all of their ideas from these early works and sort of rebuilt the old songs from the ground up. Not a bad idea on paper, and it fits really well for the theme of the memoir they released, so the album and the book go kinda hand in hand. It's a cool concept for sure, and in execution, it's really not too shabby either. The Quins are just so goddamn good at making tuneful melodies and infectious hooks, it makes them hard as hell not to love, or at the very least, even if you don't like them, their melodies get stuck in your head like the freaking Dickens, dude. It's insane. This has always been one of their biggest talents as musicians, and that factor is still ever present on this newest record as well. Hold My Breath Until I Die, the title track, I'll Be Back Someday, Don't Believe the Things They Tell You, They Lie, Keep Close Cause They Will Fuck You Too, We Don't Have Fun When We're Together Anymore. Is it just me, or are all these song titles really freaking long? Yeah, this album's drawing from the past, it's on some emo shit with these titles, but so many of the melodies, the vocal hooks, the lyrics are all just crazy memorable. And like I hinted at up top, this album is another sonic shift for the gals as well. We actually get the return of a more guitar-centric and rockier sound from them. I mean, TNS were never exactly the heaviest band out there, even during the best of times, but the last two records were just so poppy and slickly produced. I don't even think I heard one guitar on Love You to Death. But on this record, every single song uses a guitar hook as the main foundation. Hell, stuff like I'll Be Back Someday, I Know I'm Not the Only One, and Please Help Me are completely guitar driven. At times, some of these songs almost feel like pop punk. It's easily the most aggro the gals have gotten since at least like Sainthood, but it was still refreshing as hell to hear them kind of return to their roots on this record. But oh, and saying that, here's the thing about this record. While the guitars and heavier elements have come back, the pop stuff also hasn't gone anywhere. Yeah, this album is still smothered in keyboards and electronica and other things that they've been hewing in their more pop-centric sound. Not that I mind or anything, before you get the wrong idea, I loved their last two pop albums, and the pop shine is something these ladies excel at exceptionally well too. But in my opinion at least, the two sounds, the edgier stuff from their past and the more slick stylings of their present, I don't know, they don't work together. They just kind of stand awkwardly in the same room and just kind of cohabitate with each other. They're like awkward roommates or uncomfortable teenagers standing at the opposite end of a gymnasium during a dance. Though again, should I be knocking points off for that? That's totally on theme. There is a weird sense of sonic clash going on with this record. Everything about it does sound good. The poppier stuff is slick and pretty, and the rockier stuff is catchy and bouncing. But the two styles don't mix as well as I would have predicted, and at times the album can feel a touch schizophrenic. I can't help but wonder how people who don't senpai this band like I do must be feeling about this record. The sudden shifts in tone and style they're interesting. I'm not sure they've wholeheartedly grown on me yet. I'd still say this is a damn good record. Tegan and Sara haven't lost any of that luster, but even if the execution is still as brilliant as it's always been, just this record in concept I can't help but feel like it might be a little flawed. It almost doesn't feel like its own thing. It feels like a remastering or perhaps even like a complete remake of an older, like very old album. It's almost like playing a remastered game without playing the original first. It's slick and modern and it works in a contemporary setting, but it also has this awkward jankiness and clunkiness that was left over from the old material that it's based off of. I mean, even though this album isn't my favorite Tegan Sara record by any means, I can still recommend it, especially if you're a fan. There's nothing on here that'll scare you off or anything like that. Even if you're curious, you might get a kick out of this, but I don't know, maybe this album just needs to grow on me a little more. I don't know. Hey, I'm Just Like You gets 4 high schoolers with guitars out of 5.
Super special thanks to